Good morning, good morning. Here I am walking towards my bookstore with all my books. Now I'm gonna open up the store. Alright. Basically I brought all these books. And there's some VHS tapes. But these are all books that I've already listed on eBay, and now I'm just gonna put them on the shelves in the back. I'm bringing in 3 small bookcases that I'm going to figure out how to use. Here's the third one. Those other 2 are in the back of my truck. This one has an actual door that swings open, which is cool. I had all 3 of these in my garage storing CDs, personal CDs, and now we are redoing our garage. And I no longer need those, so my thought is I have another smaller one as well in the garage that I'm going to bring down here tomorrow. My thought is that this wall that's being unused will be turned into the Blu-ray wall, which might require, well, it will, if I'm going to go high, require stacking 2 of the shelves on top of each other. So we've got to figure out if we can do that in a safe way. Otherwise, we're only going to have one there. But we'll figure out something. And then we're going to put these Blu-rays there and continue to grow that Blu-ray section to see if we can better appeal to people to actually look at the Blu-rays. And we'll have some signage and display them and all that fun stuff. Well, here's that. So I put one shelf there. I'm going to wait until I get the other shelf down here, which I think is the second best shelf of these, because this one has a door, which I can take off, but it's nice to have a door. And then this one's pretty busted up on the bottom. But we'll see. The other one I have is a little bit, it's not as long as this one, but it might fit on top well. And then maybe put something heavy on the bottom, figure something out so that it's not in danger of being pulled over or just falling over. But this is the idea. Another shelf on top, and then we'll have lots of space for Blu-rays. Way more space to grow into than what we already have, basically. And now I get to the nitty-gritty of this video. This is the back room of my bookstore. Little narrow entrance, as you can see, of my second location. Here is the bookstore, the sales floor. We have this closed, obviously, when we're open. But when I got the space, this back area, this whole bookshelf here, bookcase was filled with books, as was this one, which is currently now. But these were filled with books that I still had to go through because I had purchased all the inventory and then leased the space. So that took a long time. But right now, currently in, September 10th of 2024, all of those books there except for all of them except for those at the very, you see where I'm pointing right there, those there. Everything else is for sale on Amazon. And then I have some CD shelves here. These are all CDs that are on Amazon all the way down to the bottom, and then a little shelf here. As you can see, I have sold through a good amount. There's a lot of empty space. I need to now push them all over to create more space, but I'll have to get to that. And so then the rest of it, I started over here with these are the oldest books that I listed on eBay. And as you can see, there's some space opening up here, especially on the very top. But here, there's little spaces here and there where I've pulled a book off there. There's lots of space, etc., etc. And then it goes over here to this side where there's a little bit of space, and it ends down there. Now, all these books I was, they are currently, but I have them alphabetical by author's last name. And then the CDs over here are all for sale on eBay, and those are alphabetical as well by the group or the singer. I don't recommend doing that. It ends up becoming difficult to find books sometimes and CDs. Oh, and then also all of these audiobooks as it goes into DVDs, these are all alphabetical as well. But as you can see, I've moved them, or I've created more space here because I've sold items, and the DVDs used to go down a few more shelves, and now I've sold off so many that I've freed up these shelves here, these two that I'm using for current inventory. And then those are also alphabetical VHS tapes, and there's a bunch of mostly Asian foreign language movies as well. And then the rest of it is by shelf. So I got shelf 9, shelf 10, shelf 11, etc. I started over here with what looks like a dangerous situation, but it has not been a problem. It stayed up. And these are all by shelves, right? So if it's on shelf 3, I just go over and pull it. So my question is, because I made the decision to switch from doing it alphabetical to doing it by shelf because it was too much of a pain. Sometimes I couldn't find the item or it took me a while. My question is, and I have, just so you know, on eBay, a little over 2,200 items for sale. I also have lots that are in the warehouse, but 2,200 items, including lots. And on Amazon, I've got over 500, so not as many. So the grand total, is less than 3,000. So how does one deal with this? Because most people that I see that have much larger inventories than I do, that have double what I have, 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever, they do it by, bookcase 1, shelf 1, there it is. Or row 1, shelf 1, box 1, that kind of thing. And then when they get down to that box or that shelf, they have a certain amount of space, right? Like, as you know, I have got just the books and items that are here. Oh, look, Wise House, there it is. The automatic letter writer, etc. Stuart Wood. So I just find it, find the CD, find the DVD, pull it off, ship it out. There's a lot less items to go through. It's a lot easier to find something. However, how do you deal with knowing when there is space available? So, like, here's a little space. I'm not finding space. Here's some space. Here's some space. There's some space. There's a little bit of space. How do you know when you're going to list an item? How do you know where to store it? So when it's a smaller scale, it's not a big deal, right? Like, I consider myself pretty small of a seller. But when you get to, like I said, double what I have, 5,000, which would require, obviously, double the space. I wouldn't be able to fit 5,000 items. I mean, I could possibly fit 5,000 items back here if I were to deal with all the boxes on the books in the boxes, which are on the floor, get a little bit cleaner and tidier. But, whatever the space is, how do you know how do you know where to list a new item? So you've got 50 new items you're going to list, 50 books, 50 CDs, 50 DVDs. You can even sell non-media if you're selling whatever you're selling, right? How do you know where to put it? Because how do you know there's space unless you physically walk up and go, oh, look, shelf 2 has room for 5 more books. Shelf 8 has room for 10 more CDs. Shelf 1 has room for, I don't know, 3 more stuffed animals or whatever you're selling. But for me, obviously, books, mostly books, CDs, and DVDs with the occasional VHS tape and other media, some cassette tapes, some records, etc. But, how do you know when you're sitting at your computer, or for the people that list on their phone, which I don't enjoy doing, but how do you know what SKU, because you need the SKU, you need to know where to find it. How do you know? Tell me, other than physically walking over and looking, how do you know? Is there a software for it? And how is that possible? Because the software would have to know, well, it only fits, 25 of these items, and now we're down to, 19, so we have 6 more. However, books are different sizes. Even DVDs are different sizes because there are box sets, there are TV box sets. CDs can be different sizes because there's multi disc sets that are thicker. There's box sets, etc. Books, of course, most VHS tapes, but then there's going to be some that are sets. So how is it even possible that software would know that? I'd like to know, because I haven't figured it out other than just looking. And my plan is to continue to grow and add more and more items to my store. By myself, I can't get that much bigger. It's more of a matter of carving out the time to list more items per week and committing to that. So I could probably boost it up to 2,500. To get to 3,000 would require possibly help. But I would say that's kind of my range. I'm probably not going to get much more than 3,000, even if I can do that on my own. If I was only doing eBay and I didn't have a physical store, then I could do it easily. I could get way more listed. But anyway, that's another conversation. So how do you do that? How do you figure out where to store your items other than looking around? And I see people that have 5,000 items, 10,000 items. How do they possibly know when you've got 500 boxes, let's say banker's boxes or tubs of stuff? How are you going to know where there's room to list stuff? So let me know. I'm curious to hear what you have to say, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.